Welcome back to Copeland Park here in La Crosse as Decorah and Lansing Kee getting together in game number 2 and 3 of the season for the Decorah Vikings here tonight. The Vikings are 0-1. The Kee Hawks are 1-1. Vikings coming off a 27-9 season last year. The Kee Hawks coming off a 32-10 season. We mentioned 2 of those losses came to Decorah. In fact, 40% of their losses last year came to teams from Wenatchee County.
Southland being the other.
And
Turkey.
Turkey Valley beat them in the district final in that Class 1A last year as well. So, the Kee Hawks will be looking to turn that around as the Decorah lineup getting introduced on the first base side. Decorah going to occupy the first base dugout, and Kee Hawks occupying the third base dugout here tonight. Here is the starting lineups for tonight's game. First for Decorah, leading off at the shortstop position, Colin Nimrod. Batting second in center field, Jake Hubden. Hitting third, the catcher, Kyle Kane. Batting fourth, the pitcher tonight, Dustin Carey. Hitting fifth in right field, Austin Ashbacker. Hitting sixth in left field is Cole Sweska. Hitting seventh at second base, Brady Dolly. Hitting eighth at first base is Aaron Severson. Batting ninth, the designated hitter, Sean Truan. Truan will bat for the third baseman, Bryce Pierce. So it's Nimrod at short, Hovden in center, Kane the catcher, Carey the pitcher, Ashbacker in right, Sweska in left. Dolly at second, Severson at first, and Truan the DH for the third baseman, Bryce Pierce. Lansing Kee will go this way. Matt Manning will lead off and play center field. Batting second, the pitcher, Quinn Brennan. Hitting third, the catcher, Chris Carroll. Batting fourth at third base is Nick Gavin.
John Gruden and Brett Oshkenbach. Let's play ball.
And at third base is Nick Gavin. He is in the cleanup spot for the Kee Hawks. At first base is Ryan Kuhn. He will bat fifth. Batting sixth at second base is Jared Donahue. Hitting seventh at shortstop, Casey Carroll. Hitting eighth in right field, Jason Delaney. And batting ninth in left field, Travis Kilch. So Quinn Brennan has taken the pitcher's mound, and Decorah will be batting here momentarily. An absolutely gorgeous night. Temperatures in the 80s. Haven't had it all spring, but baseball weather has arrived in time for baseball season. We're at Copeland Park here in La Crosse. It's the home of the La Crosse Loggers, and sometime tonight, the Loggers general manager Chris Goodell will stop by and talk about Northwoods League baseball. The Northwoods League season is underway. It started this past Monday. It's a summer collegiate league. College players from around the country come to the upper Midwest, and it's a pretty good baseball league. When it comes to summer collegiate leagues, it's right behind the Cape Cod League in really terms of prestige. And one guy that played here back in the old days, Chris Sale, the ace for the Chicago White Sox, a former La Crosse Logger.
Really, that kind of proves, that league is some good baseball. That's probably worth checking out.
And Max Scherzer also played here in La Crosse.
Clint Barmas was a Northwoods League guy, correct?
Yep. He is Pirates shortstop. Was my roommate on the road when I worked in that league. So we're about ready to get things underway as Colin Nimrod bats from the right-hand side and gets hit in the back right above the 10 on the back of his jersey. So Nimrod will reach first base on the first pitch of the game.
Not the way you'd ever like to start a ball game as a pitcher.
Nimrod at first and nobody out, and Jake Hubden will bat. Just underway, no scores. We get going at 5:43 tonight. Hubden last night was 1 for 2, walked twice, and scored twice. Nimrod will lead at first base, and the throw towards first base is a wild one, so Nimrod will be in head first at second with a slide. So a hit by pitch and an error to start the game for Quinn Brennan.
And here's the first opportunity with the runner in scoring position, and it'd be nice to tack on a run early in the ball game here.
Only one pitch in the game, and Decorah already has a runner at second base. We'll set the Kee Hawks defense here momentarily as Quinn Brennan comes set. The first pitch to Jake is a breaking ball low. 1 ball and no strikes. Told you about Jake's numbers last night. John Gruden calling the balls and strikes, and Brett Achenbach working the base pass today. Our friends in blue as the pitch goes high. It is 2 balls, no strikes. So 3 pitches, and they've all been out of the zone from Brennan to this point. Nimrod away from second base. Brennan comes set. Hovden squares to bunt and takes the pitch outside. And now it's 3 balls, no strikes. Travis Kelch in left. Matt Manning in center. Jason Delaney in right. Nick Gavin at third. Casey Carroll at short. Jared Donahue at second. And Ryan Kuhn at first. 3-0 taking all the way is Hovden for strike 1. As Brennan finds the zone for the first time tonight. Quinn Brennan on the hill and Chris Carroll behind the plate, the battery for the Kee Hawks. 3 balls, 1 strike. Brennan delivers, and the pitch taken high for ball 4.
Good discipline there from Jake, and I think patience is going to be key for our hitters all night. Not an overly hard thrower, so staying back and making sure we're seeing and hitting strikes.
First and second, nobody out for Kyle Kane. No score, just underway. Kane last night was 1 for 2, had an infield hit, a sacrifice, and a walk. He was also the losing pitcher in the game. As Kane will look at a strike, and it's 0-1. As Brennan started him with the breaking ball. Vikes got runners on a ton last night. They had multiple runners on in 6 of the 7 innings, but ended up leaving 12 of them on base in the loss to Mason City. An opportunity here for Kyle Kane as he squares to bunt and takes a breaking ball outside. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike on Kyle.
Coach seems to be putting the bunt play on early on here, trying to scratch out a run or 2. Could be tough to come by with 2 good defensive squads.
Kuhn a step in front of the bag at first, playing back at third is Gavin as the pitch sails high. Kyle was squaring to bunt, but he ducked under the pitch. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Another series of signs from Coach Owen, the third base box. Landon Ashbacker coaching first base tonight for Decorah. Brennan gets the sign from Carroll, comes set. And the 2-1 offering is a chopper over the head of Brennan. Fielded at second by Donahue. Throws to first base. And beating it out is Kyle Kane. Kuhn dropped the ball at first base, but that was after Kyle had reached first base. So an infield single for Kane. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Dustin Carey to the plate.
Yeah, not a very hard-hit ball, but once it got by the pitcher, I don't think anybody else had a chance to make the out.
Bryton Meyer will be the courtesy runner for Kyle Kane at first base. Dustin Carey will try to help out his own cause. He had one of the RBIs last night against Mason City. He was 1 for 3, had a walk. Bases loaded, nobody out. An interesting move here, infield up at all 4 spots for the Kee Hawks.
Yeah, pretty early to do that, but like we said earlier, runs might be tough to come by tonight. Traditionally, they are in these games.
Runners lead from their respective bases. Brennan comes set, working out of the stretch. Slightly open stance from the right hand, hitting Carey, and Carey swings and fouls the first pitch at the plate. No balls, 1 strike.
Good aggressive swing from Dustin there, though. Those are the kind of hard swings you want to see when you've got opportunities to drive in a boatload of runs.
Runners lead from their respective bases again. Brennan likes his sign from Carroll. He'll come set, a look around the base pass in the 0-1. A ground ball towards third, picked up at third by Gavin. He's going to throw to the plate. It's bobbled and finally corralled by Carroll at the plate. And a fielder's choice is complete, 5-2. Probably a little more dramatics in the play from the Kee High perspective than they wanted.
Yeah, hard hit ball. I thought they might have a chance at a double play, but a little bit of a bobble by the catcher. He did a good job making sure he got one out, though.
Hovden to third, Keene to second, Carey to first, Ashbacker to the plate. Bases loaded, one down here in the first inning, and the infield still up at all four spots for Austin Ashbacker, who was 1 for 4 last night, and he'll look at a strike, 0-1. Brennan comes set. A look around the base pass, and the 0-1 misses inside for 1 ball, 1 strike on Austin Ashbacker.
Austin did a great job of just standing right over the plate there on that curveball. Didn't give up on it. Almost got back to the corner.
1-1 the count. Brennan comes set, and the 1-1 swing and a pop-up foul right side and out of play. So it is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Austin Ashbacker. Brennan trying to pitch himself out of a jam that he was partially responsible for. With 2 walks and a hit batsman. The other one was an infield hit by Kyle Keene as the pitch goes outside. It is 2-2 the count. Two and two with 1 down. Infield up at all 4 spots. No score. Vikes with a golden opportunity early in this game. Brennan delivers, and the pitch swung on a pop-up into left. Kelch is under it. He will make the catch. Tagging at third is Hovden. Throw to the plate will be cut off. Sacrifice fly by Austin Ashbacker, and a 1-0 lead for Decorah.
Although it wasn't out, Austin did a nice job of getting the ball to the outfield. Got that first run scratched across.
The first RBI of the season for Austin Ashbacker, and Cole Sweska will bat with runners at first and second and 2 down here in the first inning of a 1-0 lead. Sweska last night was 1 for 3, scored a run and walked, swinging a foul at the plate from the right-hand hitting Sweska. It's no balls, 1 strike. Infield back to their normal spots in this situation with 2 down. Meyer away from second. Carey away from first, and the pitch swinging a pop-up foul right side and out of play onto the roof here at the Lumberyard. No balls, 2 strikes to count on Sweska. If Brennan can get out of this with only 1 run, he's got to consider that a little bit of a success. But we'll compare that to a 7th inning last night if we get a chance here. 0-2 swinging a foul at the plate. Last night in the 7th inning, Vikes had bases loaded and 1 down, and they ended up striking out twice to end that ball game. Any sort of contact with the 1 down situation makes it a 6-4 ball game, and when the score is that much closer, there's that much more pressure on the defense to make plays. 0-2 to Sweska. Brennan wanted it, but he missed inside as he went sidearm on the breaking ball. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Off a second is Meyer. Off a first is Carey. 1-2 the count. And the pitch to Sweska. He reaches for a pitch and fouls it off. First base side and out of play. So the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cole with a pretty good job of protecting there. One-two delivery. Sails outside on the breaking ball, so it's 2-2 now on Sweska.
Cole's putting together a nice little at bat here. Hasn't put anything in play yet, but he looks like he's seeing the ball pretty well.
23rd pitch of the inning coming up for Brennan. And the 2-2 outside corner taken for strike 3. But the Vikes do get on the board. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left. Bottom of the first inning we go. It is Decorah 1, and the Kee Hawks coming to bat. Vikes get on top via the sacrifice fly from Austin Ashbacker in the top of the first inning, but as we touched on a little in the break there, Luke, when you got bases loaded and nobody out, don't mean to get greedy, but you probably want more than 1 there. You probably need more than 1 there.
Yep. When you get those situations with nobody out and bases full of runners, you got to cash those in. You don't know how many more times you're going to get that opportunity, especially when a pitcher's just settling in. It's kind of if you can get to him in that first inning, you can kind of shake him up. But now that he's gotten through that, I look for him to kind of settle in here and work through the rest of this game.
Dustin Carey getting the start for Decorah here tonight. And an anal retentive umpire is making him take off his elbow sleeve. And you know the rules when it comes to that. What is that?
He's 100% right. There's a large white dot on the on that arm sleeve, which is illegal to have. For me as an umpire, yes, it would be, and also as a hitter, I wouldn't want to be watching for two white dots coming down the mound. So
he's turned the elbow pad inside out, and now it's fully dark.
And really, unless the rule is changed, you're supposed to wear equal length sleeves. A lot of people let that go, though.
So Decorah's defensively, Cole Sweskin in left, Jake Upton in center, and Austin Ashbacker in right. At third base, Bryce Pierce, Colin Nimrod at short, Brady Dolly at second, and Aaron Severson will be at first with Kyle Kane behind the plate, and Dustin Carey on the hill. Carey, the senior, did some very good things with the bat last year and had an okay year on the hill. He's probably going to be required to just step it up that much more this year, Luke.
Yeah, he'll probably be one of the guys you look to make starts within the conference, and I think he's fully capable of getting after it and getting the job done too.
Matt Manning bats from the left-hand side. Do you start things here in the bottom of the first inning for the Kee Hawks? A 1-0 lead for Decorah. Carey last year was 3-0, made 5 appearances and 2 starts. The senior right-hander brings the first pitch of the game, and it's taken on the outside edge for a strike, and it's 0-1. He had a 2.22 ERA, and opponents only hit 168 against him. 0-1 delivery, swinging a foul at the plate, so it's 0-2.
And the most important thing for every pitcher, and especially Dustin, is making sure you get ahead in counts and making sure you're throwing strikes. That really shortens at bats up for you.
No balls, 2 strikes. Dustin ready, and the 0-2 delivery misses low. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last year in 28 1/3 innings, 21 hits, 9 earned runs, 15 walks, and 20 strikeouts. Probably want a little better ratio when it comes to the walks and strikeouts this year, but always ways to get better, as that one sprayed foul out of play. That one out into the parking lot. This ballpark on the west side of La Crosse, right along Rose Street, and in our background, the Mississippi River.
Not a bad day.
1-2 delivery outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I believe Loggers have been in the Northwoods League now 10 years. The 2-2 delivery, swing and a pop-up foul, third base side, not a play. So the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. This park has always been around, and I believe this is a city park, if I'm not mistaken. The Loggers operate it. The 2-2 delivery, swing and a foul back, so Manning showing a good battle here at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the first batter here in the bottom of the first inning, and Austin Ashbacker sacrifice fly in the top of the first has given Decorah a 1-0 lead. 2-2 again from number 2, a ground ball foul. Richie Lewis in the first base box tried to knock that one down, but spun out of the way.
Darren, one thing that's kind of stuck out about watching Kee High over the last 4, 5, 6 years is how many 2-strike pitches their hitters foul off. Those they really battle you when you get them in the hole.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Dustin ready on the pitch. Taken for strike 3. Took a little something off and fooled Manning for the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. 1 down, nobody on. Bottom of the first inning, and Quinn Brennan will be the batter for the Kee Hawks. 1-0 Decorah leads it. Pitcher against pitcher matchup. And the first pitch from Carey, he starts him with a curve for a strike, 0-1. Nice to see that curve low and outside. That's something that Kyle Kane struggled with a little bit last night. That curve was up in the zone. 0-1 delivery, another curve, same spot, same result, taken for strike 2.
Yep, you have to have that second pitch, and you have to be able to locate, and Dustin's doing it so far.
Dustin ready again, and the 0-2 delivery. Check swing, did he go? Look down to first base, and Brent Achenbach says no. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-0 Decorah here in the bottom of the first inning from Copeland Park here in La Crosse. The 1-2 delivery swung on and a fly ball into left. Should be routine for Cole Sweska. He'll retreat a bit and make a two-handed catch in pretty deep left field, about 20 feet in front of the track, and that's the second out here in the first inning.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice pitch in the upper part of the zone. That was hit pretty well, but right at the left fielder, Sweska.
Of course, in a ballpark like this, you got a lot of ground to cover, and it's going to take an absolute bomb with the BB core bats to get the ball out of here tonight. As Chris Carroll, the catcher, looks at the first one high, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 Decorah here in the bottom of the first. .0 delivery, swing and a pop-up foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. This field does face a slightly westerly direction, and I noticed during infield, especially Austin Ashbacker out in right field, had a lot of issues with the sun, so probably for the next couple of hours that's still going to be an issue, perhaps maybe in that field more than any. Here's a fly ball, left center field. Jay Covden angling over, calls off Sweska, and he will make the catch and medium to deep left center, and that's that for the first inning. A 3-up, 3-down first inning for the Kee Hawks. And through 1, it's 1-0 Decorah. This is Vikings Radio, 1240 KDEC Decorah and KDECradio.net. Darren Swenson, Luke Kane from Copeland Park in La Crosse, the site of this year's Decorah Lansing Key annual doubleheader. Decorah got a run in the first inning on an Austin Ashbacker sacrifice fly, which scored Jake Hubden in that inning. And Dustin Carey was able to set down the side in order at the end of 1. Carroll was the last batter of the inning. So the Kee Hawks have another kid warming up the pitcher. Here between frames, and now Carroll back out there. So a little bit of a delay here in between innings on a beautiful night here in La Crosse. I was talking with Coach Olenzak, asked him when's the last time a Decorah baseball team had played a game in the state of Wisconsin. He said probably early 90s, back when regulations allowed it. Decorah on summer trips would sometimes play American Legion teams in the state of Wisconsin. He said they played a few times over by Madison. They've played Stoughton, Wisconsin in the past, but it's been probably at least 20-some years since they played a regular season game in the state of Wisconsin. As Brady Dolly looks at the first one low, 1 ball, no strikes. Dolly was 0 for 2 with a couple of walks in last night's game. 1-0 Decorah as we start things here in the second, and that's a smacker into left field and a base hit. First solid contact that the Vikes have had tonight, and Dolly at first with nobody out here in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, fastball in the inner half that Dolly turns around. Pretty darn good swing. Another good start to an inning here.
And Aaron Severson will bat on the varsity for the first time in his career. He started at first base last night but was hit for. So he'll get an opportunity to bat here. He bats from the right-hand side of the plate. Severson already squaring as Brennan is set. He'll step off the rope. Gavin will play up on the grass at third. I guess you technically can't use that term with an artificial infield.
No, you can't, Darren.
Up on the green at third, shall we say. Stretch and the pitch. Severson tries to bunt and bunts foul. And it's no balls and one strike, and that's one where you just probably need to be a bit more disciplined. That pitch was high and outside, which was going to be tough to handle anyway, and probably would have been ball one. Of course, easier for us to say up here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Darren. You know, the most important rule when you're bunting the baseball is make sure you're bunting strikes.
No balls, one strike. Dolly with the lead at first base, being held on over there by Kuhn. And the 0-1 delivery, that one a fastball outside for 1 ball, 1 strike. Sean Truin in the on-deck circle, a 1-0 lead for Decorah in the top of the second inning. First of 2 here tonight from Copeland Park in La Crosse. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Brennan comes set. And a 1-1 delivery, and Severson bunted a high pitch again and fouled it off, so it's 1-2. So unfortunately, Aaron misses the most important rule again. Can't fault him for trying to do the right thing because he's assigned to get that bunt down, but there's that fine line of balancing doing the right thing, and if they're going to throw you a ball, you accept that.
Yep.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch missing outside. So 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Aaron Severson. I did talk with Bud Legg, the information man from the Iowa High School Athletic Association, last week at the state track meet. As far as he knew, this was the only regular season Iowa High School baseball game to be played outside of Iowa this year. 2-2 delivery, swung on, smacked into left field, and a base hit. Dolly with the play in front of him will put the brakes on at second, so first and second, nobody out here in the second inning. So Aaron doesn't execute very well when it comes to bunting, but got a pitch in his zone and took care of business.
Yep, if you're not going to get the bunt down, the best thing you can do is get a hit. So I would expect another bunt coming up here with the 9-hitter in the box.
And that is Sean Truin, the DH for Bryce Pierce tonight. Truin was 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Stretched by Brennan, a look back at second, a third look at second now, a fourth look at second. And Truin asked for time, and it's granted by the home plate umpire.
It's a nice move by Sean. You know, you don't want to sit in that bunt stance for 10, 15, 18 seconds, as was kind of developing there.
Off of second, Dolly. Off of first, Aaron Severson. Brennan comes set. 1 look at second. 2 looks at second. He'll whirl and bluff a throw.
They're very worried about the fake bunt steal play being on here, and who knows, it could be.
Dolly and Severson both run reasonably well. Stretched by Brennan, 2 looks at second. He'll bring it to the plate, and Sean bunts through the first offering. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
The second most important rule when bunting the baseball may be to keep your feet on the ground. I'm not sure that happened there.
That's way easier said than done, too, right?
Absolutely.
Dolly off of second, Severson off of first. No balls, 1 strike. Sean squares to bunt, takes the pitch outside, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Because it basically goes against the philosophy of getting that front foot forward and stepping into the ball. When you're regularly hitting, sitting there and waiting it for a pitch to really come to you when you're bunting, it's kind of the total opposite.
Different mindset.
As Sean squares to bunt and bunts foul once again, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. So 2 times in a row, the Vikes haven't been able to get the bunt down, so I imagine Coach O will take it off here with 2 strikes. Gavin still up on the green at third, even with the bag at first. In fact, a step in front of it is Kuhn. Brennan with a long pause, and the pitch to Truin, a off-speed breaking ball outside, so it's 2-2 on 22. 1-0 Decorah here in the top of the second inning. Awesome night for baseball here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Just missed outside. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Based on a text that Luke just got, I'm not blaming anyone in particular. But get with it, Doyle. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Dolly away from second, Severson away from first. A pause by Brennan, a look back at second twice. A 3-2 to Truan, swung on and missed. Breaking ball, inner half. Brennan gets his second strikeout, 1 down here in the second inning. And Colin Nimrod will start the second trip around the batting order. He was hit by a pitch on the first offering of the game from Brennan in the first. But it's nice to have somebody listening in Texas.
Oh, yeah. National broadcast.
Exactly. Maybe one of these years we'll go international.
You never know.
1-0 Decorah, 2 on, 1 out here in the first as Nimrod smacks one down the left field line, but foul. The ball's 1 strike.
Good aggressive approach from Colin. Like we said, we got to try to knock these runs in, and that kind of aggressive approach is what we need.
Dolly off a second and Severson off a first. Brennan likes his sign from Carroll. He'll come set, a look back at second in the 0-1 delivery, taking out the letters for a strike, and it's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. 3 hits for Decorah. None for the Kee Hawks thus far. The Vikes leading 1-0 on the Ashbacker sacrifice fly in the first as Nimrod gets hit by that pitch. It hit him in the upper part of the arm while he was in the batter's box, and ignorant fan yells out he's got to make an attempt. Well, when the ball comes into the batter's box, no, he doesn't.
Well, and on a curveball too, you can't just give up and bail out on that. So, that's a tough call for an umpire to make, to have him stay in the batter's box. I think he made the right one, giving him first base.
Bases loaded, 1 down, and hoved into the plate. Walked and scored in the first inning. Vikes looking to add on to a 1-0 lead. In the pitch at the letters and for a strike for no balls and 1 strike to Jake. Jake has scored 3 of Decorah's 4 runs to this point. He's looking to add a couple with the infield up here for the Kee Hawks. Pitch swung on, popped up right side. Coming in, the right fielder, Delaney. He lost it, and it'll land in front of him for a base hit. Everyone will move up 90 feet. It'll look like a line drive in the box score, and it's 2-0 Decorah.
Well, and Darren, if the infield was playing regular depth, that probably would have been an infield fly, but with the infield up, second baseman couldn't get back to that ball in time, and scores a run. Not a pretty way to drive him in, but it does it.
So it's a 2-0 lead for Decorah. So Decorah, who was 2 for 11 last night with runners in scoring position, they are now 1 for 3 tonight. Kyle Kane got an infield hit here in the first inning in his first at-bat, and he'll look at the first pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. Infield still up for the Kee Hawks. And who had in the pool Kyle's first 2 hits of his senior year being infield hits?
You're winning big money.
I didn't bet on it. Sorry, man. 0-1, swinging a foul at the plate, so it's no balls, 2 strikes on Kyle Kane. We'd be winning big bragging rights.
Big bragging rights, correct.
Because there's nothing illegal going on here. Well, as far as we know. 0-2 delivery to Kyle. Swing and a miss. A good morning, good afternoon, and good night as Brennan gets the strikeout. There are 2 down here in the second inning. And Dustin Carey will try to help out his own cause. He bounced into a fielder's choice in the first 0 for 1. Base is still loaded. 2 down. Vikes have had multiple runners on base in 8 of their 9 times at bat this year, but have only scored a total of 5 runs. The pitch inside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Carey is the 7th man to come to the plate this inning, and the Vikes have only plated 1. Brennan ready in the 0-1 offering. Swing and a miss. As Brennan brought some heat that time, and it's 0-2. The runner at third is Severson. The runner at second is Nimrod. The runner at first is Upton. A 2-0 lead for Decorah here in the top of the second inning. And the 0-2 delivery off-speed pitch, swinging a foul at the plate. So we'll do it again at 0-2. Runners lead from their respective bases. Brennan with a long pause out of the windup. He'll kick and deal. And the 0-2 delivery to Carey is a curveball that missed outside. Brennan took a couple of steps towards the third base dugout, but the umpire had other ideas.
Yeah, it was a close pitch, and Dustin knew where it was, followed it all the way. That's how you let an umpire know you knew it was out.
1-2 as they tried to quick pitch him, and they hit Dustin Carey in the back. They pretty much tried to quick pitch there, and it kind of burned him.
You know, I
don't know what Brennan was doing there.
It's the second time in 2 years on this doubleheader we've had a quick pitch and a hit by pitch a hit by pitch on a quick pitch, and I'm not sure that gives you too much of an advantage.
And that'll be a 3-0 lead for Decorah, so Dustin Carey gets his second RBI of the year. This one a bit more painful than last night's RBI, but Brennan basically got the ball and without winding up or pausing, just delivered it right to the plate as if he was playing hot box, and it ended up hitting Carey right in the back. I don't know what it. Well, we'll talk about it here in a second. Ashbacker, the batter, he had a sacrifice fly in the first. As Brennan kicks and deals, and the pitch swung on and missed at a curveball, 0-1. What are you trying to gain by doing that?
Well, Darren, he went to the windup on the previous pitch with a little slower delivery, and then kind of a little bit of a contrast for that quick pitch. I'm sure you think you get some sort of advantage with timing. I think you're just serving up meatballs, but
0-1 delivery to Ashbacker, swung on, popped up, foul territory right side. Ryan Kuhn is under it, near the first base coach's box, and he will make the catch to retire the side. But the Vikes get 2 on 3 hits, but leave them loaded. That left on base stat is just giving you heartburn. 5 in 2 innings for Decorah. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, it is 3-0 Decorah.
3 on base after 1.5. Lead.
A 3-0 lead for Decorah as we go to the bottom of the second inning. The positive so far tonight, you're happy with the 3-0 lead because oftentimes scoring 3 runs in 2 innings is way easier said than done against a good team like the Kee Hawks. But again, we talked about it at the end of the top of the first, Luke. You don't want to get greedy being up 3-0, but 5 left on base through a couple of innings, not exactly what you want to have happen either.
You know, with the way the first 2 innings have begun with base runners and nobody out, you could be thinking about getting pushing this game close to 10 runs, but instead you're only up 3-0 and you're still in a dogfight.
But Dustin Carey on 16 pitches in that first inning got side down in order, and he'll face the middle third of the order for the Kee Hawks. Here in the bottom of the second inning, Nick Gavin, Ryan Kuhn, and Jared Donahue.
Number 21, Nick Gavin.
Nick Gavin, the cleanup hitter, right-hand hitter, takes the fastball up from Carey. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Beautiful night for baseball here in La Crosse. The 1-0 delivery, 1-0 ground ball up the middle. Diving attempt by Nimrod. It gets by him and into center field for a base hit. So Gavin will be at first base with nobody out.
Just a little seeing eye ground ball. Not a whole lot you can do about it. Wasn't hit particularly hard, but made its way through.
First hit for the Kee Hawks. Runner at first, nobody out. And Ryan Kuhn will be the batter.
Number 14, Ryan Kuhn.
Gavin away from first. Carey out of the stretch for the first time tonight. The pitch to Kuhn is a fastball up. It is 1 ball, no strikes. Stretch. And the 1-0 delivery. Here's ground ball toward short. Playing the long hop is Nimrod, but he boots it. Goes into shallow left. Staying put at second base is Gavin. Kee Hawks in business, first and second. Nobody out here in the second inning. You got to give an E6 on that to the usually sure-handed Colin Nimrod.
Yeah, I think he just kind of got caught in between, whether he wanted to play it on the long or the short hop, and kind of ate him up. That was, tough play, but one that probably should have been made.
First and second, nobody out for Jarrett Donahue. A 3-0 Decorah lead here in the bottom of the second inning. Stretch by Carey in the pitch. Fastball up to Donahue. It is 1 ball, no strikes. This is what you talked about. You have a 3-0 lead. You're happy about that after 2 innings, but all of a sudden your tying run is at the plate because of unproductive outs. Popped up down the right field side. Dolly after it, angling into foul ground. He dives and he can't get there, but it will be a foul ball. It is a foul ball. Good effort there by Dolly. He was backpedaling. He was looking over his shoulder, and right over his shoulder is into the sun. That was going to be an outstanding play had he made it. But give him the credit for a mighty fine effort there.
Yep, good route to the ball, just couldn't quite get there.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Carey with the stretch and a bunt up the third base side by Donahue, but it rolls foul, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Interesting that you put the bunt on there after letting him swing for a strike. Don't see that very often.
You got to wonder, with the latest square from Donahue, was the bunt on?
Could have been a hit attempt. You're right about that.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Carey delivers, and Donahue bunts up the third base side, and it's in foul territory, and that should be an out. And it will be an out. So a bunt strikeout from Donahue, and I'm guessing Gene didn't have that one on.
You wouldn't think so, but
that it's speculation, granted, from our standpoint, Luke, but Gene's giving Donahue a little talking to down there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it from just the interactions there.
So a safe assumption on the speculation. First and second with 1 down as Casey Carroll will look at a strike, 0-1. 3-0 Decorah here in the bottom of the second inning. They're at Copeland Park in La Crosse, first of 2 between the Vikes and the Kee Hawks. Gavin away from second, Kuhn away from first. Stretched by Carey in the 0-1 delivery, a curveball that is taken inside for 1 ball, 1 strike.
That one didn't quite make it back, but Dustin's really got the curveball breaking tonight, and he's locating pretty well so far, too.
Stretch and the 1-1, a fastball up that Carroll ducks out of the way of, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Gavin away from second, and Kuhn away from first. And Carey's off the rubber, so he'll whirl and throw back to second to send Gavin back standing to the bag. Colin Nimrod paying attention to him from his shortstop position, so there's a big gap on the left side of the infield. 2 balls, 1 strike to count with 1 down. Carey delivers, pitch swung on, a fly ball towards left center field. After it is Jake Hubden. He will make the catch. Gavin was playing it halfway. Hubden's throw to second will not get Gavin, but it's a closer play than probably it should have been. But now there's 2 outs here in the second inning.
Yeah, pretty well hit ball to center field, but Jake did a nice job, had it all the way. You're right, that play at second was closer than it probably should have been.
I thought Gavin was playing it halfway, but he was probably 60 to 70% of the way to third base and had to hustle to get back. First and second, 2 down, second inning, and Jason Delaney the batter. A 3-0 lead for Decorah. Delaney swings and misses as some hard high heat from Carey. It's 0-1. Stretch, 0-1. Swing and a miss. That was a good breaker outside edge. 0-2. Hard high heat for a strike. Breaking ball outside corner for a strike. And as a batter, this is not a comfortable position.
No, it's not.
You were there a time or two.
Oh, just a few.
maybe even 4 or 5. 0-2 fastball at the letters, but just above, I guess. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was a good pitch from Dustin. Just out of the zone, but it makes the batter think.
Gavin away from second, Kuhn away from first. 1-2 delivery. Curveball missed somewhere, and it's 2-2.
Must have been low.
So the deuce is wild from number 2. They're in the bottom of the second inning of a 3-0 Decorah lead. Away from second, Gavin. Away from first is Kuhn. Carey ready, 2-2 offering, fastball up now, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. So the runners will be in their starting block. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Delaney at the plate, used to the starting blocks. He was a qualifier, I believe, in the 800 at the state track meet for the Kee Hawks. 3-2 delivery, blooper towards third. It's caught in the air at third by Bryce Pierce, and that's that for the second inning. 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left. We head to the third. It is a Decorah lead of 3-0. Top of the third inning we go. A 3-0 lead for Decorah. 3 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for Decorah. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for the Kee Hawks. Fights with a 1 spot in the first inning and a 2 spot here in the second inning. A sacrifice fly for Austin Ashpacker. An RBI single by Jay Covden, and a hit by pitch with the bases loaded to Dustin Carey. Have been the runs to this point for Decorah. Coming to you from Copeland Park here in La Crosse tonight. Again, Kee High doing some improvements to their baseball field, so their field not quite ready to go. They had to come up with an alternate location, and might as well play it in a beautiful ballpark like this. In fact, they're doing some improvements to their softball diamond as well. It's good to see the support is there from the community to have improvements to facilities like that. Obviously, in the Lansing and New Albany area, probably not too tough of a sell over the years. As Kowalski swings and misses at the first one. No balls, 1 strike. He struck out looking then the first 0 for 1. Quinn Brennan ready in the 0-1 offering. Swung on and missed at a curve again. So it's no balls, 2 strikes on Sweska. Dolly and Severson to follow here in inning number 3. 0-2 delivery, sidearm breaking ball taken low. So it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Decorah girls soccer team have won their first postseason game as that one nubbed up the first base side foul. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. They take care of business against Waterloo East by a 10-0 margin. One ball, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out here in the third. Brennan getting ready to toss his 55th pitch of the game already, and it's smacked into left field. After it is Kelsch. He'll have to play it on a hop, and Cole Sweska with a big turnaround first base. He'll stay put with a single. Vikes get their leadoff runner on for the 3rd consecutive frame.
Yep, Sweska got kind of a gift with that hanging curveball down in the count, and he did a good job of making him pay for the mistake with a good hard single.
Brady Dolly will be the batter. He singled and scored in the second. That is 5 hits already for Decorah against Brennan. Sweska takes off. Dolly takes high. Throw down to second base. 1 hops by the bag. Second baseman Donahue backing up to prevent runner advancement. So it's 1 ball and no strikes, and now Dolly has a runner in scoring position.
Between the mayor and I, 90 seconds. Max.
Couple of steps off the bag. At second is Sweska. Brennan with a pause. Dolly squaring to bunt now. Brennan with a long pause. Charging at first is Kuhn. Brennan still pausing. Dolly asks for time, granted by the home plate umpire. Didn't know I could be that descriptive with nothing going on.
No kidding.
Runner at second, 1-0 the count on Brady Dolly. Stretch by Brennan. A look back at second, but nobody's paying attention to Sweskin. Dolly's had enough. He asked for time, and it's granted again by the home plate umpire.
No. Good call. Yeah, I mean, yeah. We've had people wandering. Yeah, I know. Yep.
Brennan again has a sign from Carroll. The pitch, Brady Dolly bunts it foul. Again, he didn't bunt a strike, and it's 0-1.
Collectively,
or 1-1, I should say. I'm sorry.
Collectively, bunting the baseball has not been a strong point in the first 3 innings tonight.
Granted, you've had a lot of in-game practice because you have been getting the runners on, but it's got to get better.
Absolutely.
1-1 the count. 3 looks at second by Brennan, and the pitch, Dolly Bunsen. That's a nice one up the third base side. Brennan off the mound will throw to first base, and the throw is dropped by the first baseman Donahue. Coming to the plate is Sweska, and he will be retired at the plate. Donahue, the second baseman, picked up the ball. Sweska decided to try to score from third, and he ended up being out at the plate, and I think he was sent there by Coach O, so that's the first out here in the third inning.
Yep, that was a real aggressive move and pretty darn close play at the plate. All started with a pretty well executed bunt by Dolly.
1-4-2 on the put out. Dolly will be at first. And Aaron Severson will be the batter. 1 down here in the third of a 3-0 Decorah lead. Brennan steps off the rubber. Dolly with the lead at first base. Held on there by Kuhn. Another pause by Brennan. 2 looks at first base. And now he steps off the rubber.
Get a rhythm!
Brennan brings it. Pitch to Severson. Swing and miss at a curveball. 0-1. Three, 6-1 for Decorah. 0-1-0 for Lansing. Dolly away from first once again. Brennan with the pause and the pitch. Curveball outside for 1 ball, 1 strike. Vikes have had at least 2 base runners in each of the first 3 frames. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Brennan brings it to the plate. The pitch blowing outside. Snap throw to first base. Dolly back to the bag standing. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike. We mentioned Landon Ashbacker helping coach a little bit this year. He's standing in the first base box for Decorah. Hopefully his beard's taking all the mosquitoes here tonight.
Yep, get rid of them for us.
And with the river, probably a football field in back of us, I'd imagine there will be a couple by the time it's all said and done as the next pitch goes outside from Brennan. It's 3 balls, 1 strike. 3-0 Decorah as we're in the third. Three-1. Outside corner for a strike, and it's 3-2. Closed circuit to KTL. Try not to. Three-2. High and tight for ball 4.
Nice job by Severson, kind of working through that at bat. Took some close pitches.
I think We'll get back to it in a second as Sean Truan will be the batter, first and second, one down. Sean struck out swinging in the second, 3-0 Decorah here in the third. Going back to that play where Sweska was thrown out at the plate, Brennan comes set, and the first pitch high and tight to Sean. 1 ball, no strikes. Lost in all the shuffle is a well-executed bunt by Brady Dahlia, the first one we've really seen out of Decorah tonight.
Yep, and, good technique and perfectly placed along the third base line. That's, step in the right direction.
1 ball, no strikes. And the pitch swung on, a blooper out to shallow second base, I should say, as Donahue will make the catch retreating from his second base position, and that's the second out of the inning.
He must have caught that off the end of the bat because the trajectory on it looked like it was hit pretty hard. Or pretty well.
Perhaps both.
Or both.
Unfortunately, it ends up in a P4 in the scorebook as Nimrod will bat for the third time in 3 frames. 2 on, 2 out here in the third. Collin looks at the first pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Collin has been hit by a pitch twice. Dolly away from second. Severson away from first. 3-0 Decorah here in the third. 1-0 to Collins, swung on and a chopper towards third. Gavin will bobble a bit, and he will go towards third base and tag the bag to retire the side. So, 1 hit, 2 left. 7 left through 3. And at the end of 2.5, it is Decorah 3 and Kee High nothing.
No Kee High here.
Bottom of the third inning we go from La Crosse, Wisconsin tonight. Luke Kane is the guy to my right. I'm Darren Swenson. We're glad you're with us. We're on Vikings Radio 1240 KDEC. Coming up next week, busy week of broadcasting. Tuesday night, the Decorah Vikings will open up the Northeast Iowa Conference as they will travel to New Hampton. Both games, that doubleheader, beginning at 5:20 on AM 1240 KDEC and here at KDECradio.net. Also, Wednesday night, alas, the home opener at Owen-Zach Field in Decorah. Benny Owen and his Southwind Warriors coming to town. They're going to be a nice ball club this year.
Yeah, it's always fun to get together with those guys from the South, and it's always fun to compete a little bit against Ben Oberman.
And that'll be the home opener next Wednesday night, 7:20 start time for that one. We'll have softball on the air on Thursday night. Decorah and Owine at home, doubleheader beginning at 5:50, and then on Friday night it'll be Decorah and Cresco in a doubleheader in baseball. And pitch outside to Travis Kelch, 1 ball, no strikes. 3-0 Decorah as we play the bottom of the third inning. 1-0 delivery to Kelch. There's a strike from Kerry, and it's 1-1. 1-1. Looper towards short, playing the long hop is Collin. He tries to barehand it, and he can't do it. And that's the second error for Collin Nimrod at short.
That was another ball that looked like it was hit a lot harder than it was, and I think it kind of fooled Collin as he approached the ball and resulted in him getting eaten up a little bit.
Runner at first, nobody out. Second error on Collin Nimrod. Second error on the squad here in 3 innings. As Matt Manning, who struck out looking to start the bottom of the first, will bat. Second trip around the order for the Kee Hawks. Ground ball up the middle, fielded right on the bag by Collin Nimrod. He'll get the first out there, throw to first base in time, double play.
Well, that's one way to make up for your error on a ball right to you. Erase it, puts two outs out.
And with a slow roller like that to shortstop, that's an easier play or a harder play than it looks. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he had to wait for that quite a bit and really showed off his arm by having to make a late snap throw over to first.
Quinn Brennan flew out to left his first time up. 3-0 Decorah, bottom of the third. Kerry delivers, pitch swinging a foul at the plate. It is no balls, 1 strike. So Kee Hawks have had 3 base runners. 1 has been erased via the double play. 2 have been on Decorah errors, and 1 has been on a base hit. Dustin Reddy, 0-1 offering. Swing and a miss at a beauty of a curve. Had Brennan fooled, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he wasn't sure what was coming there, and another well-located curveball from Dustin.
3-6-2 for Decorah, 0-1-0 for the Kee Hawks thus far. Carey ready, 0-2. Fastball taken for strike 3. Third strikeout for Carey. One error, nobody left. We head to the fourth. It is 3-0 Decorah. Fans getting greeted by a message from the mayor of La Crosse. Not something you usually see at a high school baseball game, but pretty nice for a city head to come out and welcome two teams to town tonight.
Yeah, nice touch. It's always good to be welcomed.
And also the La Crosse Convention and Visitors Bureau director is out on the field right now, giving a little bit of a settlement too. So 3-0 Decorah as we go to the top half of the fourth inning. In fact, the Kee Hawks have yet to take the field.
Congratulations on great careers. I know you got many years to go. To the players, remember that memories are a great part of your life.
So, good crowd on hand here tonight, as you would expect. Kind of a unique setting and good fan experience tonight. Most importantly, a great experience for the young men of both these teams, and a good fan experience tonight as well.
Yeah, it's always nice to come to a ballpark like this and sit under the grandstand and kind of take in the atmosphere. It's a fun night for a family.
Now the Kee Hawks will head to the field as the ball game an hour old as we go to the top half of the fourth inning. Vice got one in the first inning. Austin Ashbacker sacrifice fly scored Jake Hubden. In the second inning, an RBI single by Jake Hubden scored Brady Dolly, and Dustin Carey was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to score Aaron Severson. That made it 3-0. That's been the scoring to this point. Dustin Carey's been pretty effective on the hill. He's given up one hit, hasn't walked anybody, and has struck out 3 in his 3 innings to this point. Doing a pretty good job at getting ahead of the hitters for the most part as well. Just looking down towards the Decorah dugout. Something you, with all due respect to Coach O, you probably wouldn't have seen him do maybe 20 years ago. He stopped and talked to the mayor and the Convention and Visitors director, had a smile on his face, and had a little laugh with those two here in between innings. He's focused, he's intense, he still got his focus on the game, but still knows how to have a little fun at the old ballpark, and that's probably something over the years that he probably enjoys a little more than perhaps he used to.
Yeah, you don't always see it from Coach, but he really does enjoy coming down to the ballpark every day, and it's a fun game, and I think you got to keep it that way.
Well, and if you don't have that perspective, you don't last 51 years either. So.
Oh yeah.
Jake Hubden will bat. He walked and scored in the first, got an RBI single in the second inning. He was involved in 2 of the 3 runs last night. He's been involved in 2 of the 3 runs tonight as Hubden looks at a strike, 0-1. He'll be followed by Kane and Carey here in the inning. We're in the top of the fourth inning with Decorah leading by a 3-0 margin. Decorah has had multiple base runners in every frame to this point, and it's kind of remarkable. In 10 terms at bat, Decorah has had at least 2 base runners in 9 of the 10 times up to plate the first 2 nights. Ground ball towards short. Casey Carroll fields, winds up, throws to first base, and for the first time tonight, a leadoff runner has been retired in an inning for Decorah.
Yep, well hit ball by Jake, just right at the shortstop. He made a nice play at getting it over and beating Hubden down the line. He can really move out there.
State track qualifier in the 100. Kyle Kane, the batter. Kane hits one well towards left field. Retreating is Kelch. He'll look up, and that one will be off the base of the fence. Kyle will stand at second with a double.
There's another very well hit ball. Made it all the way out out to the warning track. Now it'd be nice to get one of these big extra base hits when we can cash some runs in.
For Decorah, that is their 7th hit. That's their 13th hit this season. That's their first extra base hit. In every other park, that would have been gone.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Well, perhaps not at Mason City last night. That was a pretty deep park as well, as Dustin Carey will try to help out his own cause. 3-0 Decorah here in the 4th as Carey grounds one towards third. Gave in there to make the play. He'll throw on to first base. The throw is offline. Kyle will move up to third base, so first and third with one out on the E5 by the Kee Hawks.
Yep, that was a good base running play to take that extra base. No one was covering third after the third baseman fielded the ball.
First and third with one down, and the baby bull to the plate. Ashbacker a sacrifice fly in the first, and he fouled out to end the second. Kuhn holds the runner on at first. Gavin even with the bag at third. First pitch to Austin goes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Up the middle, they play double play depth.
I wouldn't be surprised to see this runner at first moving here.
A pretty decent speed there with Carey. 1 ball, no strikes. Stretch and the 1-0 delivery. Austin pops one up on the infield. Left side of the infield, and Brennan off the mound to the third base side will make the catch. Nobody was taking control. Brennan finally had to. He makes the put out, and that's the second out here in the 4th inning.
Yep, that was a nice job. He realized, no one was coming to help him. He was on his own and in the middle of the diamond. Sometimes that's a tougher play than it seems, too.
Probably an easier play for the third baseman or the shortstop there.
I would agree.
2 on, 2 out for Cole Sweska. 3-0 Decorah here in the 4th. Cole looks at the first pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Sweska struck out looking to end the first. Singled to left in the third. Decorah out hitting the Kee Hawks 7-1, out erroring them 2-1. The stat that counts has Decorah leading by a 3-0 margin. Runner goes, pitch swung on, a ground ball up the middle. Donahue will field at second. He'll throw to first base, and Sweska retired. So 1 hit, 1 error. And get me some Rolaids, 2 more left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th, halfway home here in game 1 of the doubleheader. It is Decorah 3 and Lansing Kee 0. Bottom of the 4th. Decorah up by a 3-0 margin. Glad you're with us tonight from Copeland Park in La Crosse. Dustin Carey has given up 1 hit, hasn't walked anybody, and has struck out 3 to this point. Kee Hawks and Vikings. Coach Olenczak and Coach Gene Schultz, the 2 winningest coaches in Iowa high school baseball history, in national high school baseball history. Coming into tonight combined, these 2 men have won 3,051 games. Schultz at 1732 right now, Coach O at 1319. And dare I say it, that is a record that just neither man's total is ever going to get broken.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think you're right about that, Darren. That's pretty hefty amount of wins, and you got to be doing it for a long time and doing it well for a long time.
And of course, here in the state of Iowa, when you have the opportunity to play 40 games a year, and plus the tournaments, as compared to many other states that maybe get 20 games in a year, the total is going to be a little slanted towards the state of Iowa, but nonetheless, as Carroll takes first pitch high, Chris Carroll flew out to center in the first, 0 for 1. 3-7-2 for Decorah, 0-1-1 for the Kee Hawks. Starting the bottom of the 4th, Carroll swings and fouls the next pitch off. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And I know it's sometimes debated, not quite very often in the state of Iowa, whether you play spring ball or summer ball. Iowa, one of few places that actually does play the summer game. Carey ready, and the 1-1 offering. Curveball for a strike. Carroll tried to duck out of the way of that one, but it landed right in the zone, so it's 1-2. Personally, I think Iowa has it right, and everybody else has it wrong.
I agree with you, Darren. It's a summer game, should be played in the summer.
1-2 delivery, swing and a miss. Nice fastball, inner half. 4 strikeout for Dustin Carey, and from my perspective, Luke, he's bringing a bit more pop than he had in previous years.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Darren. And maybe what's helping him the most tonight is he's been really able to locate that curveball, throw it for strikes, and good strikes, good parts of the zone.
Nick Gavin has the only hit of the game, a leadoff single in the second. He'll chop one towards second, and Brady Dolly takes a funny hop, but Dolly stays with it and fires on to Severson for the second out of the inning. We talked about it. It is an artificial turf infield here, and probably takes a little bit of use to get and play in this as compared to the regular grass of many high school ballparks. But Dolly did a nice job of just sticking with the play and sticking to his fundamentals there. Yep,
the ball's getting to you a lot quicker, so you might have a second or two more than you usually do on a grass infield.
Ryan Kuhn will bat, and he'll foul the first pitch out of play right side. No balls, 1 strike to count. Kuhn reached on an error back in the second inning. No balls, 1 strike with 2 down. Carey ready, 0-1 offering. That one looped out into left field. It'll land in front of Cole Sweska for a base hit. Second hit for the Kee Hawks. Kuhn on with the 2-out single here in the 4th.
Yeah, that ball wasn't hit particularly hard, and it wasn't a particularly textbook swing, but got the barrel on it and dumped it into left.
It looks like a line drive in the box score. Jared Donahue struck out trying to bunt his way on in the second, and a fastball up from Carey. It hops out of the glove of Kyle Kane, so moving up to second is Kuhn on the fastball by Kane. 1 ball, no strikes. So the Kee Hawks have a runner in scoring position for just the second time tonight. Stretched by Carey, and the pitch swung on and missed at a high fastball. It's 1-1. Three, 7-2 for Decorah, 0-2-1 for the Kee Hawks. 2 down here in the 4th inning. Carey comes set, 1-1 delivery. That one taken at the letters for a strike, and it's 1-2. Carey gets the sign from Kane. Comes set, 1-2 delivery. Swing and a pop-up foul right side and onto the roof. In fact, over the roof and out of play. So we'll do it again at 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th of a 3-0 lead. 1-2 delivery, fastball up from Carey. It's 2-2 the count. Carey's been reasonably economical with the pitches. This will be number 54 of the night. 2-2 from number 2. Curveball taken inside for now 3-2. Runner at second, 2 down here in the 4th. Carey comes set in the pitch. Curveball taken outside corner for strike 3. 1 hit, 1 left. To the 5th we go. It's 3-0 Decorah.
Bottom of the 4th, he has sort of no runs on 1 hit and 1 run.
We're trying to correct the correct hat, or guess the correct hat and the scoreboard out in left field. Don't get to do this at high school baseball games too often.
Yeah, it's not every day you get a nice video board in left, but
3-0 Decorah as we go to the 5th. I think I'm going to go 3.
I stopped paying attention.
Yeah, I was right.
You were.
And you can back me up on that, so. Oh, Brian Hilsbeck had 3-2. Kee High's athletic director. I think I was copying off your answer, by the way. So. Brady Dolly will lead things off here in the 5th inning. Dolly, a single and a run scored in the 2nd, and he sacrificed and reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. 3-0 Decorah here in the 5th. A run in the 1st and 2 in the 2nd for Decorah. Quentin Brennan, the starting pitcher for the Kee Hawks, throws the first one outside. Dolly, he's given up the 7 hits to this point, 3 runs all earned. He has walked 1. He has hit 2 as Dolly hits one towards third. Picked up there by Gavin. He'll throw across the diamond in a long stretch at first base by Kuhn. Helps record the putout. 1 down here in the 5th inning.
Hard hit grounder, but scooped up pretty routinely by the third baseman. Just noticed, Darren, there's not a safety bag over there at first base. That kind of adds an interesting dynamic some plays over there.
Aaron Severson takes the first pitch right inside, spinning out of the way of that one. 1 ball, no strikes. Severson singled and scored in the 2nd and walked in the 3rd. Next pitch outside from Brennan. 2 balls, no strikes. Brennan has struck out 3 in addition to his walk. Vikes have forced him to work, though. This is his 82nd pitch as the pitch goes inside for 3 balls and no strikes. Comparatively speaking, we'll give you a carries total here in a moment. Got to carry the 1 as the pitch inside again for ball 4. As Severson had to spin out of the way on 3 of those 4 pitches. Carey, comparatively speaking, has thrown 55 through 4. And Brighton Meyer now will bat for Sean Truant. Truant was 0 for 2 on the night. Brighton getting a stick as the designated hitter for Bryce Pierce here. Short lead at first base by Aaron Severson. Brennan comes set, and the pitch to Brighton. 1 is outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Brighton last night was 0 for 4. Struck out to end the game. Did reach on an error once. Nice to have a receptive listening audience and a perceptive listening audience. Right on top of things.
Oh, always are.
1-0, swung on, popped up, shallow center field. Matt Manning is under it in shallow to medium depth center. He will make a 2-handed catch for the 2nd out here in the 5th. And Colin Nimrod will bat for the 4th time in 5 frames.
Number 10, Colin Nimrod.
Nimrod hit by a pitch in the 1st and the 2nd and bounced into a fielder's choice in the 3rd. 3-0 Decorah. An Ashbacker sacrifice fly in the 1st inning. Jake Hovden RBI single in the 2nd, and Dustin Carey in that same frame was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Pitch taken low. It is 1 ball, no strikes on Colin Nimrod. He's been on base twice tonight. Hasn't had his best night in the field, committing a couple of errors to this point. Next pitch outside, hops away from the catcher, Carroll briefly, but not enough to warrant runner advancement. Vikes looking for their first win of 2014. (2-0) High. 3 balls, no strikes now on Nimrod. Brennan's just struggled with location or consistent location tonight. When he's been on, he's been real good, but it hasn't been enough from a Kee High perspective. 3-0, taken for a strike, and it's 3-1. he hasn't really established a pitch to this point that he knows he can get over the plate.
Yep, and so far I'd say that's the difference in the ball game is the control and location of the two pitchers.
Severson, a decent lead at first base, 3-1 to Nimrod. Swung on, smoke towards left field. Retreating is Kelch. That ball is over his head and against the wall. Severson rounding third. He will come to the plate and score on an RBI double by Colin Nimrod with 2 outs and a 4-0 Decorah lead. There's that big hit Decorah's been waiting for.
Yep, big way to break the ice from Colin. I thought that had a chance at going out. Second one we put off the wall out there and left tonight.
The other belonging to Kyle Kane in the previous frame. Of the 7 runs Decorah has scored to this point in the season, 2 have come with 2 outs. They've both been batted in by Colin Nimrod. And Jake Hovden will look to keep the fun going. He's 1 for 2 with a walk to this point. 4-0 Decorah as Hovden smacks one into left on a base hit. Colin Nimrod rounding third, coming to the plate. Kelch's throw will be cut off. Another 2-out single. This one from Jake Hovden and a 5-0 lead for Decorah.
Yep, good aggressive approach from Jake. He got a first pitch fastball up in the zone and really drove it.
So 2 RBI on the night for Jake Hovden. And Kyle Kane, who is 2 for 3 on the night, will stand in. Infield hit in the first, struck out swing in the second, double off the wall and left in the fourth.
With Hovden's speed, you don't think he'd stick around first too long.
Stretched by Brennan. Hovden takes off. Kyle swings and misses, and no throw from the catcher, Carroll. He got a first pitch curveball, and I don't know if Decorah was hitting and running there or not, but you would assume so, since he swung at the first pitch curve. And
Hovden got such a great jump though on that steal attempt that didn't even need the swing to protect him.
No balls, 1 strike to count. Hovden at second, and the pitch smacked down the left field line and foul. There's no balls, 2 strikes now on Kyle Kane. With the double that Nimrod hit and the double that Kane hit, the hitting cage out in left field would have gotten a couple of dents at home.
I think so.
But Arnie Dalen made that building tough back in the day. 0-2, swung on, shallow right. Coming on is Delaney. He will make the catch to retire the side. So a 2-run score, both with 2 outs. On 2 hits and 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 5th. 5-0 now to Decorah.
In the bottom of the 5th, Decorah scores 2 runs.
Bottom of the 5th inning we go. It is a 5-0 lead for Decorah. Dustin Carey has been very effective, giving up 2 hits on only 55 pitches, no walks, and 5 strikeouts to this point. And he's been very effective, especially the fact that in every inning, Decorah has had multiple runners, so there's been a long bit of rest in between pitching stints for Carey here in this ball game. Granted, he's in the lineup, so he's active in the game and everything like that, but sometimes that's not an easy thing when you're just not going right back out there.
Oh, yeah, having that layoff on your arm, get cold.
Swinging at the first one is Casey Carroll. He'll fly one to the left, retreating is Sweskin. That one's going to be one hopping against the fence. Carroll will stand at second with a leadoff double.
Yeah, that ball was smoked, and I thought Sweskin had a pretty good beat on it off the bat, but just wasn't able to get there.
So a runner at second with less than 2 outs for the first time tonight, or for the second time tonight for the Kee Hawks. Jason Delaney will be the batter. And the Kee Hawks will have a courtesy runner out, or a pinch runner out at second base.
Courtesy runner for Casey Carroll is number 1, Ethan Walliser.
Ethan Walliser will be the pinch runner for Carroll. Delaney popped to third in the second, 0 for 1. 5-0 Decorah as we play the bottom of the 5th inning. A runner at second and nobody out. Walliser with the lead at second base. Nimrod will pay attention to him. Now he'll yield those responsibilities to Carey. Delaney will bunt through the first one on a breaking ball, 0-1. That's the thing with Kee High baseball over the years. Just because they show bunt on pitch 1 doesn't mean it's happening on pitch 2.
You're right about that, Darren.
So many times you've seen that bat come back and end up slapping it by a charging infielder. No delivery, and Delaney tried to get out of the way of that one, and the bat made contact with the ball as it's fouled back to the screen. 0-2. Look at the hustle from Lando out of the dugout there.
That's what you like to see out of your assistant coach.
Exactly.
Little vigor.
No balls, 2 strikes to count. Carey with a look back at second base. And the 0-2 delivery, a curveball. Just missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second, nobody out in the 5th. We're in game number 1 of this doubleheader on Vikings Radio 1240 KDEC Decorah and KDECradio.net from Copeland Park here in La Crosse. 1-2 in the pitch, swing and a miss. Might have took a little something off there, maybe a different speed fastball there, Luke.
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't that crisp, hard one he's been throwing, but taking a little off, disrupting a little timing, it worked out there.
Travis Kelch, the left-hand hitting left fielder, will bat. 1 on, 1 out, 5th inning of a 5-0 lead for Decorah. As Carey throws outside, it's 1 ball, no strikes. Carey ready, 1-0. Chopper over the head of Carey, charged at second by Daly. He stays with it, throws to first base, and they got him at first. Up to third on the play goes Walliser. He'll be there with 2 down.
Yeah, Brady did a nice job of coming and getting the baseball and then getting it out of his hands in a timely fashion. He made that play look pretty easy.
The Vikes got 2 2-out runs in the top half of this frame. Matt Manning will try to get a 2-out run home in the bottom half of this frame as he starts the second trip around the batting order for the Kee Hawks. 5-0, or third trip, I should say, around the batting order for the Kee Hawks. Pitch, a strike, it's 0-1. Manning struck out looking as a part of a 9-pitch at-bat in the first inning, and he bounced into a double play in inning number 3. 0-1 delivery, fastball paints the black of the outside edge, taken for strike 2. It's 0-2. Decorah out hitting Kee High 9-3, out erroring them 2-1. Lead at 5-0 with 2 down and a runner at third here in this inning as the chopper goes over the head of Carey. Fielded at short by Nimrod. He'll throw on to first base, and safe at first is Manning. Scoring is Walliser. Kee Hawks on the board. It's 5-1.
Yeah, even though that ball was on the second base side of the bag, it definitely was Collins' ball. He made a heck of an effort charging it and getting rid of it. Just not enough time.
Manning getting the infield hit to score Walliser, who ran for Carroll after an inning opening double. And Quinn Brennan will try to help out his own cause. It's a 5-1 game for Decorah as the first pitch goes outside. Brennan taking it outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Manning with an average lead at first base, stays put. Breaking ball taken outside edge for a strike. It's 1-1. Fastball up, 2 balls, 1 strike. Carey trying to get out of things here in the 5th inning as the Kee Hawks on the board for the first time tonight. Carey comes set, and the pitch swung on, popped up right side. Foul territory. Aaron Severson under it from his first base position will make the catch to retire the side, but 1 run scores on 2 hits. No errors and 1 left. We head to the 6th inning, and it's a 5-1 lead for Decorah.
1 run, 2 hits, there were no Decorah errors. That's 5.
Ryan Kuhn is now pitching for the Kee Hawks. It looks like Jared Donahue will move to first base. Casey Carroll, I believe, will move from shortstop to second base. Looks like Chris Carroll will move from catcher to shortstop, and it looks like Quinn Brennan, the pitcher, will move in to catch. So no lineup order changes, just position changes for the Kee Hawks here in the 5th inning. Always convenient when they do that, at least for us trying to do the book up here. 5-1 Decorah here in the 5th inning. Vikes got 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the 5th. And the Kee Hawks with 1 in the 5th inning. All 3 runs that were scored in the 5th inning came with 2 outs. Dustin Carey will be the batter. Carey reached on a forced play in the 1st inning and was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the 2nd, reached on an error in the 3rd. So he's been on base 3 times tonight, but has 0 for 2 to show for it. As a pitch in there for a strike, it's 0-1. But his main contribution to this game has been his right arm. The 0-1 delivery, swing and a miss. Got a curveball on the inside edge, no balls and 2 strikes. Different look being given to the Viking hitters. Probably not a bad move after 90 plus pitches from Brennan to give the Viking lineup a different look. Pitch outside to Dustin. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brennan on the night gave up 8 hits in 5 innings. Pitch swung on, hammered down the left field line, but foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. 5 runs, all of them were earned. He ended up walking 3 and striking out 3 on the night as well. 5-1 Decorah here in the 6th. We're still in game 1 of the doubleheader. The pitch swung on and missed as he tried to wait back on the breaking ball and waited too long. Carey retired, 1 down here in the 6th.
If you could tell, he picked that spin up just a little bit late and tried to change his approach, but tied him in knots.
1 down, nobody on. And Austin Ashbacker to the plate, sacrifice fly in the 1st, foul to 1st in the 2nd, pop to the pitcher in the 4th. First one high from Kuhn. It is 1 ball, no strikes. Looking into the bottom of the 6th inning, Kee Hawks will have 3, 4, 5 hitters due. Pitch swung on and a ground ball towards 3rd. Bobbled a bit at 3rd by Gavin. He'll throw on to first base. Nice stretch at first base by Jared Donahue. And that's the 2nd out here in the 6th inning.
Yep, that was a well-hit ball by Austin, and the 3rd baseman played it how you're taught to play it. Right up the middle, let the ball ricochet off his chest, and fired a strike to 1st.
So 2 down. Nobody on. And Cole Sweska will bat. Tried to backdoor him with a breaking ball, and it's taken outside. 1 ball, no strikes. 5-1 Decorah here in the 6th. Sweska struck out looking in the 1st, singled in the 3rd, and grounded to 2nd in the 4th. Pitch swung on a fly ball out to right center field, and that one will land for a base hit. Manning will cut it off before it hits the alley, and Sweska will have a long single.
Nice piece of hitting by Cole, right back up the middle with that pitch, and wouldn't be surprised to see him moving with 2 outs here.
2 down, runner at 1st. Brady Dolly is 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the 2nd. Sacrifice reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Curveball taken for a strike. Sweska goes, and he'll slide at 2nd. And the throw gets by the shortstop, and Sweska will move to 3rd standing. Nobody went to cover the bag that time. Brennan just released the ball like he should do as a catcher, but neither of the Carroll boys out in the middle of the infield went to cover the bag, and that allowed Sweska to get an extra 90 feet.
Yeah, it was a nice job by the pitcher holding Sweska to first base, and the ball beat him, hit the bag. If anybody would have been there, they probably would have been able to apply the tag for the out.
Second error of the night as the curveball taken for a strike, and it's now 0-2 on Brady Dolly. That's one where Brennan will likely get the error, but it's not his fault.
Not at all.
Kuhn out of the windup and the 0-2 delivery, swinging a foul at the plate. So Brady stays alive. No balls, 2 strikes. Vikes have had runners in scoring position now in every frame. To this point, they've had at least 2 base runners in every frame. 10 hits now for Decorah. And the pitch well high from Kuhn, as Brennan had to leap out of his crouch to snag that one. 1-2, the count with 2 down. 1-2 delivery, swing and a miss. Kuhn gets out of it by striking out 2 of the 4 men he faces. 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and it's 5-1 Decorah.
Decorah scores no runs. One hit.
A 5-1 lead for Decorah as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Dustin Carey gave up a run with 2 outs in the 5th inning, but overall only 4 hits through 5. He has struck out 6 on the night. Most importantly, 0 walks.
You're right about that, Darren. Haven't given away any free base runners, and when you do that as a pitcher, you're putting your defense in a real good position.
And granted, Carey's appearances were slightly limited last year, but in 28 1/3 innings last year, he did walk 15 guys. And you can argue that's a small sample size, and it is. But at the same time, control's obviously based on the first 5 innings of 2014, something he's focused on.
Yep, and he's been sharp tonight with both pitches, and I think that bodes well going forward.
3-4-5, Chris Carroll will start things here in the 6th inning. He'll swing and foul at the first pitch, no balls, 1 strike. Carroll flew out to center in the first, struck out swinging in the 4th. Carey ready, 0-1 offering. Pitch outside is 1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball right side. Picked up on 2 hops by Severson. Easy jog to the bag to retire Carroll. And there is 1 down, I should say, in the 6th inning.
Up for Kee High, number 21, Nick Gavin.
Just getting out the smartphone and checking some other Decorah results today, as Nick Gavin will be the batter. Curveball for a strike, nothing in 1. We can tell you that Caleb Ulring and Carl Sand have made the semifinal round of the doubles tennis tournament down in Waterloo. Picked up wins over a team from Pellin, a team from Clarinda. Ground ball towards short, deep in a hole. Collin takes a little time to get it out of his glove. He'll throw on to first base, and the throw a little bit late.
Yeah, ultimately that ball getting a little stuck in the glove, couldn't quite get the grip is what cost him. But that was a pretty strong throw from Collin, pretty deep in the hole.
Without a good arm, there's no drama in that play at all. So we'll rule that one a hit. 5th hit of the night for the Kee Hawks, as Ryan Kuhn will be the batter. 1 on, 1 out here in the 6th of a 5-1 lead. That ball behind Kuhn hops out of the glove of Kane, so moving up to second on the wild pitch is Gavin. So it's 1 ball, no strikes on Kuhn, who reached on an error in the 2nd and singled to left in the 4th.
That may be the first pitch of the night from Dustin that has been, hasn't been a reasonable pitch. He's done a pretty good job of nibbling the corners when he's missed thus far.
1 ball, no strikes, the count. Pitch in there for a strike, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. And when things don't go your way like that, you just got to be mentally tough enough to put it behind you. Of course, way easier for us to talk about than it is to do, but Dustin's done a pretty good job of that. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 down. The pitch, ground ball to the left side. Fielded at third by Pierce. Looks the runner back. He'll throw on to first base. And on a bang play, Kuhn is retired. Second out of the inning, and he kept the runner at second as well.
Yep, that was a very nice play by Bryce. He did a good job of charging that ball, hit over towards the shortstop, and made sure the runner was staying put, too. He kept things in order there.
So, runner at second, 2 down. Jared Donahue, the now first baseman for the Kee Hawks, will bat. He struck out twice, trying to bunt in the second, and looking in the fourth. Pitch swung on, popped up, right side, foul territory. Kane is under it. He will snow cone the ball and make the catch. Snow cones at more than the concession stand here tonight at Copeland Park. 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the 7th, 5-1 Decorah. Welcome back to Copeland Park here in La Crosse. A 5-1 Decorah lead as we go to the 7th inning. A solo spot in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the fifth for Decorah. Kee High got their lone run in the bottom of the 5th inning. We can tell you an update from the state tennis meet. We mentioned that Carl Sand and Caleb Ulring will be in the semifinals starting tomorrow morning. C.J. Cliff and Gable Lining will be in the consolation semifinals as well. So 2 Decorah doubles teams going to be in the top 8 and medal at the state meet. So congratulations to that team, and best of luck to them Tuesday down in Des Moines as they compete for a team title. They're at the team tennis tournament for the first time since 2001. Back when Luke Kane was a young pup.
So real young, yeah.
So best of luck. They've had a heck of a year. And we just got word, I just got a text message from Coach Gard that Sam Sackwitney at the State Boys Golf Meet shot a 75 on the opening day. He is tied for 6th overall. Yeah, on the individual side of things, I know it was a big-time heartbreak for the boys golf team losing out on state in a district championship by 1 and 2 strokes last week. But hopefully Sam can make some noise as an individual. And a little bit of a trivia question. The last time Decorah did not qualify as a team, they did have the individual champion.
It's a good piece of trivia there, and I'm going to say
who was that?
I'm going to say it was Cody Schweinefus. I can't remember the year off the top of my head, but I'm sure I could come up with it.
And actually, that year, if I'm not mistaken, was the year the 3A state meet was held out at Oneota. So, new pitcher in for the Kee Hawks. It's Casey Carroll. As Kuhn throws an inning, strikes out 2 and gives up 1 hit. Casey Carroll is the 3rd pitcher, and he'll throw to Aaron Severson, who looks at a strike, 0-1.
Kee High, number 11, Casey Carroll.
And Donahue is back at 2nd. And Kuhn is back at first base. Swing and a miss from Severson. And it is 0-2. Severson's been on base all 3 times, singled and scored in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, and walked and scored in the 5th. 5-1 Decorah. We play the top of the 7th here in game 1 of this doubleheader. 0-2 delivery, high and tight to CB. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Ground ball towards short. Playing the long hop is Chris Carroll. He'll throw on to first base to retire Severson for the first time tonight. 1 down here in the 7th inning. Vikes run in the first was off Ashbacker sacrifice fly. Jacobs an RBI single, and Dustin Carey hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the 2nd. 2 2-out runs in the 5th, an RBI double by Colin Nimrod, and an RBI single for Jake Covden. Brighton Meyer looks the first one low, 1 ball, no strikes. Back the top of the order tonight for Decorah has a combined 5 hits. They've been on base a combined 8 times.
That's what you need from those top guys.
They have scored 2 of the 5 runs. Brighton looks at a strike, and it's 1-1. Brighton's batted twice, including this at-bat in the game. He flew out to center his first time up. That was back in the 5th inning. Sean Truan had the first 2 at-bats in this spot. Sidearm fastball taken on the inside edge for a strike, and it's 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Kee Hawks will have the bottom third of their order due in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The pitch, Brighton swings and fouls one at the plate. So we'll do it again at 1-2. By the way, Mary Herman says we were correct on the location and the trivia, so who are we to question her? She's way smarter than us. Doesn't take a lot, let's be honest.
No, it don't.
Well, you're a law school boy, so I can't say that about you, but pitch inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Luke going to be a Tommy next year.
Yep, should be a good, fun challenge.
Always up to one of those, correct? 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. But at least you got your brother replacing you at Iowa.
Yep, we'll keep the good streak down there going for another 4 years, hopefully.
Yeah. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Ground ball foul, so we'll do it again at 3-2. Need to start planting that seed in Anna's mind on a college decision too, right?
Yeah, that's coming pretty quick as well.
3-2, fastball up for ball 4. So, in 14 consecutive innings, the Vikes have yet to be retired in order. What they do once they get the runners on base honestly needs to improve a little bit, but you are getting people on base. Colin Nimrod bats for the 5th time here in Game 1. The pitch outside, 1 ball, no strikes. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st and the 2nd, hit into a fielder's choice to end the 3rd, doubled to left with 2 outs to knock in a run and scored himself on Hovden's hit back in the 5th. Pitch outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Again, the Kee Hawks will have the bottom third of their order due as Brennan, the catcher, out to chat with third pitcher of the night for the Kee Hawks, Casey Carroll. Moved to first base. Ball got away briefly from Kuhn, but not enough to warrant runner advancement. Wasn't his best move either. Stretch and the 2-0. Inside corner for a strike. And it's 2-1. We're up by a 5-1 margin here at Copeland Park in La Crosse tonight. Good crowd on hand. Moved to first base. Back in diving is Brighton Meyer. Free admission to the high school games up here. What I understand, the school split a $250 rental fee for tonight's game. 2 balls, 1 strike. Meyer goes. Ground ball towards short. Fielded there by Carroll. He'll get the first out at second. And the throw to first base is in the dirt and wasn't corralled there by Kuhn. So a fielder's choice, 6-4. Retires Meyer, and Jake Hovden will bat with 2 down and a runner at first here in inning number 7.
And that ball was hit so hard that they almost were able to turn the double play with the runner stealing second base.
Hovden on the night, 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 RBIs. He swings at the first one, pops one up. The pitcher, Carroll, retreats off the mound and makes the catch towards the shortstop side of the mound. And that's that for the 7th inning. A walk and 1 left. Vikes will try to close it out. Next, they lead at 5-1. Aaron Swenson, Luke Kane, Dustin Carey will try to close out a victory here. He's got a 4-run cushion as we go to the 7th inning. Dustin's throwing well tonight.
Yeah, he has. He's been real efficient. I don't know if you could ask for much better out of a first start of the year here from Dustin.
Giving up the 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 6 strikeouts, 0 walks.
And that's the big one, Darren. You know, he's been in the zone. There probably haven't been too many 3-ball counts even. You know, he's been really on with the location today, and he's had that live fastball and big break and curveball to go with that location.
At the risk of putting the broadcaster jinx on, there has not been a 3-ball count today. Casey Carroll is 1 for 2. Flat center in the 2nd inning and doubled, and his pinch runner scored in the 5th. And he'll look at a strike, nothing in 1. Carey's done it at a relatively low pitch count, 85 coming up right here. Eric Severson in the bullpen. Line drive caught at third by Bryce Pierce. 1 away here in the 7th. Hard hit ball, but Bryce Pierce was right there on the money.
Yeah, that ball was smoked, and it's not like it was hit right at Bryce either. He used his feet to take him to it and watched it right into the glove.
Bryce getting his first varsity start at third base, and he's made a couple of very nice plays there as Jason Delaney will be the batter. Curve for a strike from Carey, nothing in 1. Delaney popped to third in the 2nd and struck out swinging in the 5th. 5-1 Decorah. We play the bottom half of the 7th inning. Pitch, swing and a miss. And it's nothing in 2. Delaney, defensive swing, nibbles one up the first base side. Is picked up there by Carey, and he'll throw on to first base and Severson. For the 2nd out here in the 7th inning. Carey has not had a 1-2-3 inning since the 1st. The last hope for the moment for the Kee Hawks is Travis Kelch. He's 0 for 2, reached out an error in the 3rd and grounded to 2nd in the 5th. Pitch in there for a strike. It's nothing in 1. Nothing in 1 with 2 down. Carey ready. Breaking ball right down Broadway, taken for a strike. And it's nothing in 2. Vikes 1 strike away from closing this baby out. The 0-2 delivery. Fastball swing and a miss, and that's a Viking victory. Decorah defeats Kee High in Game 1 of this doubleheader by a 5-1 margin. 5 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors, and 12 runners left for Decorah. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors, and 5 left for the Kee Hawks. Dustin Carey gets the win, throwing a 5-hitter, giving up 1 run, walking nobody, and striking out 7. Quinn Brennan, the losing pitcher for the Kee Hawks. The Vikings go to 1-1. The Kee Hawks drop to 1-2, and things to improve on, but all in all, a pretty good performance there.
Yeah, offensively, we had just enough hitting and took enough advantage of the help that they gave us to scratch across 5 runs. And defensively, Dustin put out a great effort tonight on the mound with 2 pitches in the strike zone in the good parts of the strike zone, and he really led us to victory here in Game 1.
All right, 20 minutes or so, we'll be back with Game 2 of the doubleheader. Vikes win Game 1 by a 5-1 margin. And we'll be back here in about 20 minutes or so on Vikings Radio 1240 KDEC Decorah.